Welcome to today's episode of Proven, where we take highly successful, iconic individuals and we share their backstories with you so that you too may be motivated to become proven. Today on our show, we have an incredible young woman, and let me tell you something. I got to read you her credibility because she is an expert. She is at the top of her field. She is iconic all by herself. But let me tell you a little bit about our guest today. I have with me Zakiya Larry. She is an elevation specialist, and she helps people to elevate in their life in every aspect. I'm going to let her talk about that, but let me tell you, your mood, your attitude, your skill set, anything that you're ready to go to the next level, she can help you get there. But there's some impressive things in her credentialing here that I want you to know. She's a contributing writer for Black Enterprise. She's a host of a radio show, and I'm going to let her tell you all about that. But check this out. She is the CEO. She is a young woman who is the CEO of Quest Media Trainings, and it's a communication firm that provides interview preparation, strategic messaging, and crisis communication. She has served some of the greatest in all industries, from ministry, where she has worked with T.D. Jakes. But check this out. I got to read this laundry list. Okay, she's worked with Oprah, Dr. Oz. She has been to Nairobi, Kenya, and she has led some blockbuster hits there in terms of promoting them and letting people there know in Kenya exactly how powerful she is. Okay, she's a mover and a shaker. But she's also worked with the blockbuster hits in America like Jumping the Broom, Heaven is for Real, Miracles from Heaven, and she's even worked with Angelina Jolie. Okay, do I need to say anything else? I want to welcome to Proven today Zakiya Larry, an icon in her own right. So Zakiya, welcome. I could go on and on and on. I didn't want to read everything, but you know what? This is pretty impressive. And so we want to hear a little bit about how you got started and perhaps maybe what you went through, some of your highs and your lows, as much as you feel led to share. And we welcome you today.
So I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for this opportunity. And the timing could not be any better because I'm in a season right now where I'm reflecting on where I am and making sure I'm following my strategic plan to where I want to be. But what I'm finding along the way, and this is things that I work with my clients about, is that things that I saw as roadblocks in my business were really roadblocks inside of myself.
Wow.
And I was just projecting those into my everyday. And so we can unpack what that looks like, but we've all run into fear or not being confident. And the thing is, it's about finding your why.
But you know what's really interesting to hear you say that, it's like you're a pretty confident young woman based on your bio, which is highly impressive.
Thank you.
But most people probably don't think that you maybe have fear issues or confidence issues, I'm sure.
Well, and I like to say it this way, I have a very healthy self-esteem. I'm good there.
Okay, gotcha.
Thanks, Mom and Dad.
Yeah.
So that part I've not necessarily struggled with, but what I've had to struggle with over the course of my journey, mentally, emotionally, is being timid, being afraid to step out, being afraid to be uncovered. Because at my core, I'm a nurturer.
Okay.
I'm very warm and fuzzy inside, dare I say sensitive. And so even though I have the go get it attitude and I can, be cut and dry and, I come out of the newsroom. So sometimes I'm just straight to the point. I still have a very soft underbelly.
Okay.
And so there have been times when I'm afraid that maybe it'll hurt if I go out into the deep, too deep.
So what is the one thing, though, that gives you that ability to overcome those fears and to take the chance of stepping into the deep? Because a lot of people just say, you know what, forget it. It's just too much. It's going to be hard. It's going to be difficult. I'm going to, maybe drown.
Right.
But apparently you've made that decision that no matter what, I'm going out there with floaties on and I'm going to make this happen.
Exactly. I love that. And I do need floaties, actually.
Okay,
and a tube, and I need it all.
All right.
So the odd thing about it is two totally opposite emotions work together to push me into my next level. Fear and absolute bravery.
Talk about that just a little bit, because there may be others that are very conflicted, and they're fighting each other against fear and bravery. And a lot of times fear prevails and is the winner.
Absolutely.
So just spend a few moments sharing some wisdom and insight on
Absolutely. Well, I believe fear prevails when you fear the success or you fear the wrong thing. I think that in order to move forward, you got to flip fear. And so when I say fear and bravery work together, I have acknowledged that it's not that I'm afraid of moving forward, but I am afraid of being stagnant.
Okay.
And the fear of staying in one place, the fear of not being able to serve the kingdom in the way that God has placed on my heart, the fear of showing up at the gates one day and saying, "We'll see what had happened was."
Okay, yeah. But a lot of people
that
do
propels me.
Yeah.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. But I've decided that whatever is on the next or on the other side of that fence, even if I can't see it, even if I'm afraid of it, it is not as damaging to me as staying complacent is.
Okay.
So my fear of complacency drives me, but also there's a new sense of bravery that I have, a new sense of I can do this, not because of who I am, not because of what I've done or from where I've come, but because of who God called me to be and because of who God says I am. And so on those days in which I feel like I'm a train wreck and things are falling apart and I don't know if I'm going to meet this deadline.
Okay, not you, right?
Listen,
Okay,
when I have on,
let's
talk about it.
Look
A
like
train
for
wreck for
Describe
me.
that kind of day.
A train wreck for me is I get out of bed in just enough time, maybe 30 minutes before my first conference call.
Okay.
And my pajamas don't match. And I grab a bag of Cheetos for breakfast. And so I'm already discombobulated. I'm like, this, you know what? I'm a hot mess right now. I do what I need to do. I'm sending emails. I'm not feeling too great, but I'm pushing through anyway. But it's in those moments in which I feel like I want to stop. I want to watch Netflix. I want to run away because this is a lot. And what I do every day for a living is I help make decisions for other people that impact their future.
Okay.
And for the most part, it's exciting, but sometimes it becomes heavy. And sometimes you want to be able to look to someone else and say, can you help me make a decision for me?
Wow.
You know, it's hard always being that carrier of someone's future.
Wow.
You want to have that for yourself. And so in those days in which I need somebody to kind of carry me too, I end up feeling like a bit of a train wreck.
Wow. You know, I think we all have those days where we feel that way. And so what would be the thing you would say that perhaps maybe your parents instilled in you, that little bit of glimmer that gives you that ability to say, and I like what you said, I'm carrying the future of others. That's powerful. So that means you have to have engagement on a day-to-day basis, whether you feel like it or not. And you've worked with a pretty impressive list of individuals. So apparently they trust you. But after you grab those Cheetos and you're sitting there in your mismatched pajamas, that's okay. That's okay. Somebody needs to know that.
Right.
Somebody needs to know that. So what one thing? Okay, we've got the fear, we've got the bravery working together, but there has to be that either self-talk or something that's within you that really pushes you to do what it is that you do when you feel like a train wreck. Some people don't have that.
Wow. Yeah. So that it is the self-talk. I really love the way you illustrated that. And you mentioned my parents, what did they instill in me? And they instilled in me the ability to find my voice, to self-talk. So what my parents gave me really is an extension of what God gave me. My parents gave me a name. My parents called me something that meant something. It causes me to rise up. So my name Zakiya means intelligent in Kiswahili.
Oh, wow.
And so my middle name,
beautiful.
thank you. Now this I've never told anybody this. You have to really look for this. My middle name, I say it's cultural creativity, but my middle name is Ebonique. And it's a combination of ebony and unique because my parents spoke over me a full, complete vision of who I was supposed to be, intelligent and uniquely Black.
Oh, wow.
And so I can't escape that. I may escape matching pajamas. I may escape a positive attitude that day. But when I look in the mirror, the only thing that goes with me every single day is who I am. And
That is
that's
so
Zakiya.
powerful that your parents spoke life over you. And that's the thing that you remember on a day-to-day basis.
Right.
You know, it's so important, the words that we speak. So many people just,
Yes.
call kids whatever. They name them whatever.
Right.
But names have meaning and words have power.
Right.
And so to know that that's a motivating force for you each day, how would someone change what's been spoken over them to really change the course of their destiny?
Whew, you just gave me chills. Because I had this experience last night.
Oh my God.
I was speaking to someone incredibly close to me. And this person said, we're broken. And so we need to do certain things because we are so broken. And continued to talk. And they had the best of intentions. And that thing sat on me. That sat on me, drRenee. And I had to find the courage to speak my truth and stand up for myself. And it's not in the moment. I got off the phone and then I thought, you know what? No, because you are not allowed to call me that. And so I called that person back and I said, I understand you had the best of intentions, but I have to be very clear that I'm a lot of things. And we know a train wreck can be among them, especially in the morning when Cheetos are available. Don't trust me around Cheetos. I'm a lot of things, but broken I am not. I said, I have spent many, many years healing from things that happened in my childhood, from my parents' divorce, through dealing with my stepdad, and happy to share any of that. I said, so my healing has been intensive and long and painful. And I've just arrived within the past couple of years in this space of absolute peace. I've never felt this peaceful. I've never felt this whole. I've never felt this beautiful. And I don't mean physically. I feel like my soul is something that just radiates.
Wow. Okay, now. Oh, you've given yourself soul care.
Yeah.
And now you have that wealth in your soul.
Yeah.
That is so powerful. It's amazing how people try to project what they're feeling on us. Even, the people that started out with us, right?
That's
and
true.
they really know us intimately.
Right.
But then when you start to do that work that's necessary for your own personal soul care, sometimes they have a difficult time transitioning with you.
That's true.
And they'll try to project upon you what it is that they feel.
Right.
So that was powerful and took a lot of courage to pick
Right.
up the phone and say, you know what, I'm not receiving that.
Right.
And I think that as a woman who has risen to the top of her field, that perhaps that too has been a major motivating force behind you, which has made you who you are. So when you said that, you talked about getting chills. That really gave me chills. 'Cause I'm sitting here going, what words have somebody spoken over me lately
Right.
that I need to go back and maybe revisit?
Absolutely.
And then really change the trajectory of what they've tried to speak over my life. Because people will try you.
They will.
On every hand.
They will try you. And I love what you said. They know who you used to be. But healing sometimes shows up very quietly. And you don't know you're healed until you have to face that
Talk about that a little
issue
bit.
again. So I posted a message about my father recently on social media. And that was a very deep, painful spot for me. I used to cry, boo-hoo, every single Father's Day. And I had I was afraid of relationships. I was afraid of commitment, just all of the toxicity that comes with pain from a little girl losing her father, but him still living. So I can see you, but I can't touch you. And more painfully, you seem to not want to touch me.
Oh, gosh.
And so I've lived with that in different ways for so long. But what I realized to the healing showing up very quietly is that every other few days it got easier. And I didn't realize it, but I was praying and I was reading and I was going to counseling. And I have to tell you, it took years.
Okay.
It took years because you don't know your triggers until you're triggered.
Right, exactly.
So it wasn't until maybe 3 or 4 years ago I was sitting in Sunday service. It was a Father's Day celebration again, and I was getting ready to get up and go find something to do and serve in the back somewhere.
And a lot of times we do that. We try to get
Exactly.
away from the very thing that does trigger us,
Right.
so we won't have to
Right.
deal with it or confront it.
Exactly. And so I'm like, oop, who called me? Girl, nobody. Did nobody call? Sit down.
Sit down
ma'am.
somewhere.
Have several seats.
Oh.
So I sat there and nothing happened. My heart didn't quiver. My stomach didn't shake. I didn't start crying. And I thought, well, what's wrong? What's going on today? And I realized that at some point in the year, in the days, peace had snuck in and sat on me. And I didn't know it because I didn't have to confront it. And so I'm finally healed in that place. My father and I talk and we love on each other.
That's beautiful.
But that's how I know, especially when I get down or when I see people say, I'm ready to be healed, I need my healing right now. Oh, absolutely. When you call that thing forth, God will do it for you. But understand that right now may not sound like the heavens cracking open. Right now may mean you open your eyes at 5 o'clock in the morning and it doesn't hurt anymore. And you don't know when that will come, but it will come, but it comes quietly, because that's what peace is. It's a blanket.
You know, I don't want people to miss what you said in terms of what you had to do until that peace came.
Right.
You know, you had to pray.
Yeah.
You had to read the word, which gives
Absolutely.
life. And counseling became a part of that process as well. So many people are so ashamed about going to counseling.
Right.
And I think that in our world now, that's something that we have to help people to embrace and help them to understand. I've certainly done my share of counseling, okay? I've had some issues in my life, and I thought, I need some help, okay? I need some real help.
Right.
And a counselor can really help you through. That's the whole goal
Exactly.
of them, to help you process through and to peel away the layers so that you can get to that sweet spot.
That's so true.
That place of peace.
That's so true.
And so with that, now you're in a place where you have a relationship with your dad, and that's really commendable. That's commendable.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
But what about the person that might say, well, you don't really understand what I've been through, you know?
Yes. Oh,
Yeah, there are always the ones that will say, you don't understand. And
Right,
so,
right.
I understand you've been through something, but you don't really understand
but you don't know
what
my,
I've
right,
been through.
right. Oh, you ask all the good questions. Okay. I'm like, woo, that is such a good point. I remember one day, I was very sick for the past couple of years. And I went to the doctor one day and he said, on a scale of 1 to 10, what's your pain level? And I said, I think 7.5, 8. And he went, 10 is childbirth. You're at 8.
Oh, wow.
And I said, well, sir, since I've never had a child, I don't know how to answer your question. For me, my pain is 8. And I use that story as an example that sometimes we try to weigh what we're going through on a general scale that doesn't apply. So when people say, you don't know what I'm going through, you don't understand, we're not trading war stories. We're not weighing
Wow.
your pain versus mine
Oh, that's
so
good.
that my help is sufficient and efficient. What I think we're called to do, especially as children of God and really as women, living this life, living this experience, I think what we're called to do is say, I may not know all of your pain, but I understand the range of your pain. So your 10 is different from my 10.
Wow.
But if you say you feel 10, let me tell you what I did at my 10.
Okay. That's
And
good.
maybe that'll
Yeah.
get you over your threshold. I'm not going to argue about your story and how bad you hurt.
Yeah.
I'm not going to argue about should you hurt. Because like that doctor tried to tell me, well, my pain is pretty much insignificant because that's childbirth.
Wow.
But until I get there, sir, this is my 8.
Oh my God! You know what? My mind is going 100 miles an hour. We could go so many different directions on
Right.
that. But I think the important thing that I'd like to extract from that is that we can empathize with other
Yes.
people and their pain, and then share our story in
Absolutely.
hopes of helping them to know that, you know what, you too can do this. You
That's
too
it.
can get through. Now, after going through this healing process, and then you mentioned that there was a period of your time that you took ill. A lot of times people will give up on their dream, give up on their vision, because they just feel like the odds are stacked against them. And so was there ever a time that you might have thought, you know what, okay, God, this is enough. You know, it seems like the odds
Right.
are stacked against me. I just got over this, and now I've got another thing to confront. Did you feel that way? And what did you choose to do? Obviously, you chose to push through because you're here.
Right.
But what was involved in that process for you?
Sure, it was a long process. From a career perspective, I started out in the newsroom as a journalist, moved into PR. I've had the chance to travel the world, work with all sorts of names, and now work with small businesses, entrepreneurs, and large-scale nonprofits to help them to take their brand to the next level. So I'm doing that. I'm moving, shaking, or so I feel, and I'm living the dream. And my body was steadily declining. to the point that eventually I had to stop working per my specialist's orders. And I say specialists with an extra S. I had all of the ologists. I had all of them. I had a cardiologist, neurologist, dermatologist.
Wow.
I had 5 different specialists at one time. So I spent my entire week rotating, going to these different people.
Okay, so what caused you not to quit and throw in the towel? I mean,
what caused me not to quit and throw in the towel is because I simply couldn't. Because there was a day I was sitting in treatment. I used to sit in a chair for 8 hours a day, PICC line in my arm that went to my heart. Couldn't move, couldn't do anything. And I remember saying one day, God, you know what? If this is how you're going to take me, can you just do it? I'm over it. I'm over it. This is not fun anymore. And I'm getting weak. The reason I think that I didn't throw in the towel is because I realized what I had left to do was greater than that pain on a scale from 1 to 10.
Wow.
And that's that
Oh, wait a minute.
fear.
Hold up a second. You decided that you would push through the pain because your purpose was needful.
I knew
in
it
the
had
earth
to be.
realm.
I
Oh my
knew it had
God.
to be.
I mean, how many people really do that? I mean, that's commendable in
Thank you.
like ways I can't even express to you. But for you to make that decision, God, that I have something to give to the world, that's incredible.
But see, God will whisper to us the whole time. And the question is, are we listening? And it's okay to miss it sometimes, but do we go back? And what I realized is, and oh Lord, I'm about to mess up my lashes.
That's okay.
What I noticed is in treatment every single day, 5-6 days a week, there were other people who were sick with different things or sicker than I am, and some who were terminal who were next to me. And we would talk. And I didn't look at this as a ministry moment. I didn't go in and say, all right, who am I gonna talk to the Lord? No, I was like, I need a granola bar. Don't nobody look at me. Don't nobody talk to me. No, I'm in my chair. This hurts. I want to go to sleep. And I'll be back in 6 hours so I can go home. Somebody has to pick me up, can't drive. So that was the space I was in. So no, I didn't go in thinking I'm gonna be the next patient, to get a star, a gold star. But I realized that God was using me in that arena because people started pouring out their hearts and telling me things that were absolutely just groundbreaking and shattering and heartbreaking and beautiful at the same time. And as they were pouring out to me, I was able to pour into them. And I thought, well, Lord, who am I that I'm sitting here complaining and someone whose life is slipping away feels a need to tell me what they're going through, and I get to share your grace? How dare I think that this is too hard? And I realized that your pain pushes you into your purpose, because if I'm gonna be a vessel to help people to heal, find their core, go from where they are to where they want to be, you can't be a vessel of healing if you don't know what it is to be sick.
Okay, you're bringing me to tears here because, so many people honestly make excuses for where they are. And for you to reach down deep inside and say, you know what, I may be going through my own situation, but there's somebody else that's in a worse predicament and situation than what I am. And to find the strength to be able to speak and minister to them, I'm at a loss for words. I'm seldom at a loss for words, but that just touches my heart. And I know that there's somebody that's listening today that has probably said, you know what, I got my diagnosis, but it all boils down to whose report will you believe?
Wow.
And you found an opportunity to take what the enemy meant for evil and turn it around in that moment and use it for good to bless other people right in the midst of your own pain. And so you found a defined new purpose.
Absolutely.
Oh my
absolutely.
God.
And boldly and proudly walked in it. And I want people to understand, and I need people to hear this because I struggled with this. I was, Lord, I'm not a minister. That's so intimidating. That's too much for me. That is just too much.
I don't know now.
And that's a whole nother story.
Okay, we'll talk
there's
about that
a whole
another
nother
time.
call. Yeah. But so that to me was so heavy. And I think a lot of people say, oh, I'm supposed to minister to people. Wait, that's not no. Here's what I found. That ministry is simply love.
Wow.
That I didn't walk in and
On
say,
my lashes.
there will be no intact lashes
Oh my
at the
God.
end. Like
Oh,
2
wow.
sets are gone.
Oh my God.
So what I realized is I didn't have to walk into treatment and say, hey, good sister, so Ephesians 3:20. I would sit there, I'd eat my granola bar, and I'd say, how are you today? And when they answered, I'm fine, but their eyes are droopy and their voice is ragged, then I would say, so no, seriously, how are you? Because I know I don't believe you. And you make them crack a smile and you make them laugh. And at the end of the day, hearts were touched, my heart, their heart. And so I realized that I have to sometimes remove a lot of labels because labels are weighty, they're heavy. And so maybe I'm not there to minister today or speak into someone's life or show them the grace of God. All the things that we're told to do that stresses us out and makes us have to take a nap in the middle of the day. I said, I'm just going to talk to somebody. I'm going to love on somebody.
Just showing that love,
just
and
showing
compassion
love
and care.
Yes, and it comes back. It comes back and it becomes this amazing exchange of God's grace and the Holy Spirit. And I just remember I used to leave treatment and sleep for about 16 hours uninterrupted. And it would dwindle and dwindle and dwindle until one day I woke up like a normal person. And what I realized is leaving treatment, I wasn't even drained anymore. The medicines were more powerful. My hair was still falling out, just all of those things, but I wasn't as drained anymore. And I would ask, why is this day better than that? And it was because I had talked to someone.
Wow, you have given up yourself.
Yeah.
So it's true, you reap what you sow.
That's true.
Absolutely. Wow. Okay, Zakiya, I tell you what, you're proven and you are iconic.
Thank you.
And a lot of times people don't understand the sacrifice that we make. So I commend you for a job well done. And I don't know who else is watching today, but the thing of it is that we're sitting here and we have to have that soul care for each other. We have to be concerned about having that level of compassion that will change lives. But more than anything, I hear that you've learned from your parents and through every experience that you've had that you have to give of yourself sacrificially every single day.
Yes.
So whether it's with an iconic client that you're working with or just an everyday person that you encounter, I think that's why God's blessed you abundantly.
Amen.
And that's a beautiful thing.
I
So,
receive it.
any
I love
closing insider wisdom you want to share? A takeaway that somebody can just apply to their life now?
Sure. Something that you can apply to your life now. It doesn't matter where you are. We all have our next level. We all know where we want to go. And take inventory. Take a step back. Decide why you want to go to that next level, because the why will inform your how. So if you know why you want to do something, you can figure out how to get there because you know what drives you. And so if that's in your brand as an entrepreneur, if that's in your ministry as a leader, if that's in yourself as a person who says, I'm ready to be healed, find out why you want to go to that next level, because it will automatically reveal what's holding you back, what's hurting, and you'll realize that working on those things becomes your roadmap to your next elevation.
Wow. So there you have it. There's nothing wasted in your life.
Nothing.
Everything that you've been through, experienced, good, bad, or indifferent, it's part of what's necessary for the roadmap to you, like this beautiful woman here, becoming proven too. You can follow her at the information on your screen, and I guarantee you'll want to connect with her, because just like her, if you put in the time, the work, the effort, if you make a decision to overcome where you are, you can become proven too.